Welcome back to Girl Talk. We're filming on site at Bella Domicile, that's here in Fitchburg on Nesbitt Road, and we'll be discussing with them Give Back 2016. Stay tuned and you'll learn what that is a little bit later. But next we turn our discussion to moving seniors. Now moving is stressful for anybody and everybody. I feel like especially me, but our next guest has a mission to provide a calm, safe, happy atmosphere for seniors throughout moving experiences, moving out of their homes or downsizing. With me I have Mary Ann Garidi. She's with MovingForward. Thanks for joining in today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. So this sounds like a really interesting business that you have. Tell us more about what a senior move manager is. That's what you are.
Exactly, yes, sure. So my company is MovingForward, and I'm a senior move manager. And what that means is we've been trained through a National Association of Senior Move Managers to provide basically a calm, safe way to help seniors downsize from a home they've been in maybe 40 years, moving into a smaller 500, 700 square foot apartment.
Which
that's no small task.
Yeah, exactly. Stressful, scary, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And it's an emotional thing too,
Exactly.
and I think that's what kind of impressed me in speaking with you before is there's a big emotional aspect to it, and you guys are really careful with that component as well and helping them through a really tough time. And
Absolutely.
we'll touch on that in just a little bit, but talk to us a little bit about who maybe your typical client would be.
Sure. So basically, our typical client is, we'll meet a lady who is, she found out that she has to move, and so we'll go there and meet with her. And maybe she's been in her house, like I said, about 40 years, and she's ready to move, but she just doesn't know where to start. So we come in, and usually our clients are pretty stressed out, and they just, and their kids are stressed out because they're like, well, where do we even start? And so we actually we kind of go with them. We go room by room throughout their house. We kind of decide what they want to take with them, and then we kind of make a plan of attack, and so we decide what we're going to bring, and then what we're going to sell and donate, and then we help them pack what they want to bring. We help them do a floor layout so they know what will fit nicely into their new space, and then we kind of the neat part about it is actually we go through the process. We pack up what they want to bring, and then we go and we move them to their new home. And on move day, we actually the client is typically not with us, but we're there, my staff and I, and we unpack them and we kind of get them settled in, hang the pictures, hang the shower curtain, make the bed. So by the time they come back at 5 o'clock that evening, and it's their home and they're ready to go.
That's incredible.
That's so
it's really all the way from the beginning where you're just starting to plan that stressful process all the way to the end where you can go home to a new home and feel like settled and have the things that are really important to you.
Yes, we try to recreate the atmosphere.
So I know we touched on kind of like your clientele base, but who typically contacts you?
Sure.
Is it the client or is it their children? Or
it's almost never the client. So typically, like the kids, the children will call because they're like, well, I have no idea where to start, or my mom had a fall.
Can you please help me?
Yeah,
help my mom, right?
Right, exactly. And they really want to be there, but lots of times, they're living out of state, or they just because of their own jobs or they're raising their own children, they just don't have the energy or the time to be able to help this process because it does take some time.
How does that work if the senior is moving out of state? How does that work for you?
Sometimes, like just recently, I had somebody actually moving to Minnesota. And so in this situation, I worked with a senior move manager in Minnesota. And so then on my end, here in Madison, I'll kind of pack up the senior, do everything on my end, and then we'll arrange with the move manager in Minnesota to their new location, and they'll unpack them and get them settled in. And so then they're set to go. And then I still kind of take care of getting the house cleaned out.
What a great piece of mind to have.
Oh my gosh.
That you're being transported between people that care so much.
Right.
It's such a tough time, people typically don't want to go through this process, don't want to move out of their homes.
Right.
And so to be in that place where you're needing to really downsize and change your whole life, some of these people have been in their homes 40, 50 years at time. Sometimes it's a very emotional thing. Before we go, what advice would you give to somebody who's in this situation who's needing to move or downsize?
Sure. And so basically, my number one recommendation when I'm meeting with people, even if they're just kind of thinking about it in the back of their mind type of thing, it's always just downsize early at any age. Just if you're not using something, if you don't love it, let it go, find a new home for it, because it's never too soon. We always kind of just keep accumulating things, and we move it from A to B, and then we wonder why we still have it. So I would just encourage people to let go of things, whenever possible, and just share them, with others. So
thank you for that gentle reminder. reminder.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is Marianne Garidi. She's with Moving Forward. If you have questions of your own, I noticed on your website they have FAQs, so you can learn more about this if this is right up your alley. Thanks for coming in
Thank
today.
you very much.
Thanks, Marianne.
We'll be right back chatting with Bella Domicile next.